What's up, guys? It's Knoxy with Red's Detail Company. I'm going to go through how to use the CarPro SIC Sanding Discs today in a real live working situation on this lovely example of a Honda Civic that is parked 20 feet away from my garage. So in the event that your vehicle or a vehicle you've been working on had its deck lid used pretty much as a table for many years of its life, you've probably accumulated an abundance of variously deep scratches. I'm going to go through today. We're going to point out just a little piece of this deck lid. We're going to run through the numbers on the sanding discs. We're going to see how they perform in a real world situation. All right, here we go. So the overcast sky and the sun right here is going to make it kind of challenging to see. I mean, you can get an idea. You see the like really kind of large accumulation of swirls, but when I get down on it and I put my light on it for you, you can see the deeper stuff there. The white ones especially show up. So this is very typical of, a vehicle with age. It's well over 15 years old now, and you've got, like I said, just a slew of defects in this thing. So I'm going to go through the process. We're going to start with probably looking like maybe a little 1500 grit all the way to 2000, and then we'll take it to 3000. We'll polish it out, and then we'll see what kind of results we get. Oh yeah, gross. What's going to be really cool about this particular demonstration is that when these discs were designed, the way that they were designed was to be able to address defects in finishes without taking an abundance of material. In the case of abundance of material, what I mean when I say abundance of material is your clear coat. These cars are notorious for having very sensitive, very finicky clear coats as is. So this is actually going to be kind of a challenge. Hopefully we can, get everything done, addressed properly and polished out without blowing out this car's paint. This vehicle is owned by one of the groundskeepers here at Reds. He doesn't know that I'm doing this, and that's why I don't have his keys and why the car's not in the garage. So all in all, this is a pretty dicey situation, and you're along for the ride. All right. So this area, we got it on film. You've got a bunch of like white scratches, kind of white scratches, and then an accumulation of different various swirls. So first thing I'm going to grab is going to be my 1500 grit SIC disc. And if you see the grain on this, you can see when you pick a piece of this up, you feel it. It does not feel like 1500 grit. It does not feel like traditional sandpaper. This technology is very new, and it's very unique in the sense that everything is extremely small as far as the abrasive set on this. This is like nano abrasion, so it feels silky or like velvet, if you will. But make no mistake, this velvet has fangs. I'm about to show you. So I'm just gonna pick a little spot and essentially just keep the block from teetering, and I'm gonna go in dry. Now you see the dust or the clear coming from it, and I'm going to try to get this on film. You can see it built up right there. The unique part about this particular product is that when you have the buildup there, you just have to wipe it off. Not on your sleeve, maybe on a towel, and you keep it moving. I'm just going to do this tiny little area here. We'll see how good we can get it to clean up. Again, wipe it off on your towel, you're good to go. I am using a hand sanding block to try to just promote consistency. It's always really important when you're sanding to keep things consistent. I know that when you watch me do this, it looks like I'm moving really fast, and I probably am, comparatively to what most people sand like, but you also have to remember I've been doing this for a massive portion of my life. So repetition will just build speed. No different than when you're polishing. I'm gonna run over this surface here. Good to go. I'm gonna put my 1500 grit away. Next one on the lineup is gonna be your 2000. So we're going down in abrasion set, which is really weird. You're like 1500 to 2000 is up, but in the sandpaper world, that means down. It means that this is a finer grit comparatively to 1500. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Now, a lot of people ask me this question when they're sanding. Do I go the opposite direction? You know, honestly, as long as it's consistent, I don't really care. It's more of like a to each is their own kind of deal. I mean, I can go the opposite direction than I sanded before, just to kind of show you. We can look at it, compare it together on video, whatever you want to do. So. And I'm not putting a lot of downward pressure on this. I'm literally letting this disc do its job. I don't need to bear down real hard on the paint. Remember that this paint is super sensitive to begin with, and I'm doing this outside, so we have the odds stacked against us. No need to add any more issues into the game. You can see doing it dry is, I mean, ultra effective, and I really enjoy it because I can see through the sanding pattern. I can see the scratches that are a little bit deeper that probably won't come out safely, and I'm not gonna, you know, misjudge what I'm doing here and get myself into a, you know, even bigger potential problem. Not that the guys would give me too hard of a time if I blew through his deck lid, but still, I'm on video with you guys and I gotta look cool. Next on the block, 3000. Now, the first one I went this way, the second one I went this way, so the third one I'll just go ahead and do the opposite way. There's multiple different crosshatch patterns there. And again, you just sit here and watch 3000 grit doing its job. Overlaying that pass. Now you'll see where my first pass stopped right about there. So on my second pass, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna meet the two. I'm gonna slightly overlap into where that was. Kind of like connecting the dots. I am holding the block a very specific way. You know, in another episode, I'll kind of go over why I do that. But for now, you can just sit back and watch me sand this little spot right here. Good. Okay, so I pulled the camera off the tripod just so you can kind of get an idea of what these signatures look like and how uniform the signature is. Ultra smooth. These discs have just such a uniform sanding signature, and that's going to allow for our next step, which is going to be compounding and polishing this out. So now that we have the area sanded, I need to figure out how to get from here to there with polishers. Here we go. Got my rotary polisher I am not going to turn this up to like a super high speed because of how sensitive this paint potentially is and the fact that we just sanded it, what type of paint they used on this vehicle, and the amount of defects that are already in it. You know, this thing's seen too much abuse. I don't want to overwork the paint system or put it in a potential situation that we're not going to get out of. So I'm just going to put a little bit of product on this, and I'm going to very lightly massage these sanding marks out. Another little good rule of thumb, if you have these little dangly pull tie things on your hoodie while you're running a rotary, you might want to tuck them in, otherwise, you know, it could be a very bad day. Let's get a look at what we're working with here. Now I'm going to try to finish it down with a rotary in front of you. I'll probably fail epically, but I'd rather go ahead and get to the bottom or to the end of this so that we can see the difference. All right, let's check it out. So here you go. This is the condition of the paint before we started. I mean, just a hodgepodge of swirl debauchery. And then that's us after. So you guys still got some stuff, and I'll tell myself, there's some stuff right here at the edge. It was just a little too deep, and if I flash a light on it, you can really see them. Just a little too deep for the paint system to tolerate, especially on the edge with it being as old as it is, sanding, blah, 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 blah. But all in all, we went from this to that with a 3-part process. Attaboy, CarPro. So there you go. CarPro SIC discs pulled away a win today. I didn't pop through a deck lid on a car that I didn't ask permission to work on. Win for me. And at the price point of these discs, that's a win for you. If you guys like what you're watching, subscribe, like, maybe even give me a comment every once in a while. It really helps out the channel. It also allows me to know a little bit more about what you do and don't want to see. And if you want to add maybe what you would like to see me do in the comments, I'll make a video on it. Thanks for watching.